Okay, so recently I was watching the Ben Heck Show, and if anybody is not subscribed to the Ben Heck Show, just like it sounds, definitely subscribe if you like seeing inside of the electronic equipment and stuff like that. But what he had done is he had taken a CNC and he had opened it up and he had replaced all the animal noises with quotes from one of his colleagues, and that was a trip. That was definitely unique. And but during the process, he had mentioned, because he was using one of the newer CNCs that's all digital with the circuit board, and he had mentioned the old CNC and had actually said something to the amount of he's not sure how they worked. And he theorized, and I believe he theorized right on how it worked, and so that got me to wonder, and I asked my wife, do the kids have a CNC? And she produced no less than 4 CNCs. So this is what we've got here. We're looking for one of the old CNCs that has no batteries, that just works completely analog, or not even analog, just mechanical. And of course this one on the front is a CNC, but it's nowhere near the right thing. The levers, these are just settings on the side, and I'm going to be careful with that one, because once it starts going, it never stops. Now here is the type that has the batteries. Definitely runs off of batteries, and so there's a circuit board in there, and the chips hold the sounds. And he showed inside of one of these and how they worked, and I may pull this apart too just to review. But basically, whatever sound, it's on the rooster. Well, now it's not. It's on the duck. Sounds a little bit like a sinister duck. This one might be partially broken, or the batteries are dead, or who knows what. But as we cycle down, look at this. We got another one. That's exactly the same. And it is also on duck. And it also doesn't work. So of course the mechanical, there's a big spring that goes around with like a half circle I saw on Ben's video, and that gets it going and picks the sound. But of course if the batteries are dead, it's only going to spin, it's not going to actually do anything. But anyway, this isn't the one we're after anyway, either. This is the one. No batteries, all mechanical, probably all plastic. Oops. And these are from the 80s. This particular one, let me get in close. It's 1989. A Mattel, and this one was made in Mexico. But anyway, as you can see, no battery compartment. And there's just a couple little pinholes in there, and we'll figure out what those are sooner or later. But it's the classic thing where it's pointing at the cow. Well, point at the. Well, let's go with the duck. Where's the duck? There's no duck. Yes, there is. Duck right there. No reliable, even with no batteries, and almost impossible to do with one hand. Here we go. Okay. There we are.
Here is a duck.
So it works every time, but how does it work? Ben has theorized that there is a record in there, and that's my guess as well. But how on earth does it pick the tracks, and what's happening with picking up and setting down the needle? You can see in there, right about there, there's a passive speaker, like old phonograph, the type where you cranked with no power. There's a speaker in there, and you can see in here just a little bit of the apparatus. Now, the curious thing that I'm discovering is that there's no screws. Ordinarily, they would put the screws under the sticker, and I was looking all around this sticker and I saw no indentations, and I poked around, I couldn't find any. So I'm fairly convinced there are no screws. All I can see on the back are these little indentations you see here, right there, in there, there, way down in there, over there, in there. My guess is that it snaps together. Those are push snaps that are pushed together at the factory and never meant to come apart again. You can almost see one in there, right in there. So you can definitely see that there's posts. And the top of the post, though, which would be right there, you can see there is no indentation for a screw. So I believe this is all snapped together, either at those, probably at those points, and maybe along the edge as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera and see what I can do with prying. And if prying doesn't work, I'm going to get out the Dremel. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that was not quite as easy as I was thinking it was going to be. I want to recommend, if you're taking one of these apart, just give up on the Dremel idea and go straight for a drill. And drill all those holes out. I'll show you what I did here. Find all the holes. Those indentations that I was talking about will kind of like sink marks where the molding process had made those shafts. Find all those and just drill them out. Make a mark on your drill bit, the depth of the case, so that you don't go out the other side if you're wanting to use this again. See, my intention here is to get it back together again after I'm done seeing what's in here, and let the kids still play with it, of course. But you don't want holes all the way through the front. So basically, drill them out as much as you can. They were snapped, these kind of shaft bullet snaps, and you drill them out as best you can, and then it's still a matter of running a screwdriver along that edge and prying all the way along, keeping it level in there, and twisting and popping all those what's left over of the plastic on those snaps. And so basically I've got it apart, but I haven't opened it yet. It looks like the front wants to come off rather than the back. So that's what I'm going to do here. So let's see what's in here. Aha. Okay, so like right there, probably didn't come from the factory. That's a leftover roach egg. Of course, this thing is old, 1989, 25 years old, and who knows where it came from, really. So basically, so on the lever you have a gear that's on this recoil, like on a weed eater, and there's a string in there that pulls this whole contraption, and so all the action's happening in there. This appears to just be paper, and you can see it's just a tab and paper. Let me turn the camera off and get that opened up, and we'll take a look at we'll look at that contraption next. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the paper is off of there, and I have to say, quite fascinating. It is a record. There's a record in there. See that? And there's your arm and your needle, your phonograph. So when you pull the handle, it pulls the string, and I believe the recoil spring is on the bottom of that disc. And it makes it spin, and the well, I'll show you. I think I can do this. Let's see. Here we go. My apologies, very hard to do. Here we go.
This is a pink. The rooster says.
You see, fascinating, very fascinating, and I would have to say, you know, of course, a record player, my apologies, record player is not that fascinating.
The cow says.
But what's fascinating here is that no matter where this dial is pointed, it seems to be playing on the same groove, but it is playing different things. See, I was thinking that there would be, however many tracks there are animals, but there aren't. It just seems to be your basic track, your basic record, single surface, and try this again. Here we go. But the needle follows the same path every time, no matter what it's playing.
The rooster says.
So, offhand, I don't get it.
Do you hear the frog?
You see? That doesn't make sense.
The cow says.
And, well, just like I was thinking, of course, once it gets to the end of its play, the needle does lift up off the record, because it couldn't stay in it.
The coyote goes.
But I don't understand how it's playing a different thing every time it follows exactly the same track. So, I suppose I need to pull this apart a little bit farther, so let's see what we got. Okay, I have it figured out now. Very, very fascinating. It's genius little thing. Let me just go around this quickly and show you what's happening here. Like, for example, this part here, you can see the little weight up in there. Little weight. And that weight is providing the speed. It's balanced, and so this is your governor that is keeping it from playing too fast or too slow. And then when you come around here, this little spool is actually holding the spring steel, and that is what's, as I pull it here, you'll see it's wrapping around there. Instead of having it all at the bottom of that big disc under there, they put it way over here. And so
This is a horse.
you can see it is connected to that right in there. There's a little sleeve right there for it to fit into, and so every time it is pulled, it coils around there because it has a little slot to fit into. And then, of course, this here is the arm, the record player arm with the needle on it. And the top part here is the cam that rides along this little nub at the base of the speaker. This is a passive speaker. And so when you see, that's what's keeping the needle off the record as it's pulled. See that? It's not touching. And so when you pull it back, allow it to focus, you can see it's, one moment, it's got to focus. There we go. Okay, so you can see that it's not on the record, and when you let go,
The bird says.
it sets down on the record, plays the track, and then at the end pops up again so that it can move along the selections without scratching the record. Now, as I was saying, this is the fascinating part. Every
Here
time,
is a duck.
just about every time you pull it, it plays a different selection depending on where the arrow is pointed to the different animal. But it seems to be playing the same track. You would think that there would be all the little separate tracks. If you remember on an LP, if you grew up in the 70s, you would have separations in between the tracks, but they're not here. It's going the full length of it every time. Now, It's very hard to see. I'm going to try to put it right about there. But at the lead-in edge, now something that I might be doing right now is inserting a picture, where I've taken a flash picture so that I can show you on like a regular 45, right at the beginning, there would be a lead-in that just guides the needle to the music. But this has multiple lead-ins. As you can see, you might be able to see, you might not be able to see. As this turns around, you might be able to see the different lead-ins going by. I might be able to zoom in on the editor to show that. But this is how it selects them. Try to swing that around and get more light. There, I believe you can see them there. All those little lead-ins, you can see them going by right over there. There they are. And that is based on where the needle is, the arrow is pointing, and that is what changes when the lever is pulled. And so that is where it changes where the needle is set down. Whatever lead-in it is set on is where it pulls into the record. And then there will be a separate groove along the same length for each animal.
Listen to the cat.
And so that's how it works. And pretty amazing. And you know what? That's probably how like those little baby dolls work that say several different things, or like if you remember Woody from Toy Story, had all the different sayings a lot of dolls did. They probably have something like that inside of them doing that. Now, to have a little fun, I think that if I were to put my finger on the governor, I think I might be able to slow it down right in there, make it sound funny. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, I can make it sound funny. It's a little tricky. I don't think there's a way to make it go faster.
This is a horse.
But anyway, that's how it works. Pretty neat. That's not exactly what I was thinking. I knew there was going to be a record in there, but I didn't think it was going to be that fascinating. But that explains it, if anybody was ever wondering how one of these works. And of course there's the back of it, and this whole unit here is self-contained, and you can play with this as much as you want. So what I'll do now is I will put the whole thing back together, and what I'll have to do now is glue it back together because I have drilled through all the snaps. But I'll epoxy it all back together and give it back to the kids. No harm, no foul. And so I hope you got a kick out of this. And thanks for watching. I'm going to be doing quite a bit more of this as I discover which toys the kids have and sneak them out of their rooms and take them apart. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good one.